Questions. Someone once told me, live like there's no tomorrow. And I said, that's great until your rent is due next month. You see, questions. We often swing between two extremes. Either we're so busy planning the future that we forget to live the present, or we're so lost enjoying the moment that we forget to prepare for what's ahead. Questions. Life is neither a race to the future nor a nap in the present. It's a dance between the two. We live in an age where everyone's obsessed with what's next. Next job. Next milestone. Questions. Next version of our phone. But my dear friends, if all we do is chase the next, we lose sight of the now. A man once told me, I'll be happy when I buy my dream house. He bought it. Questions. Then he said, I'll be happy when I pay it off. He paid it off. Then he said, I'll be happy when I retire. And when he retired, he said, questions. I wish I'd lived more when I was younger. We don't need to chase later happiness. We need to choose happiness now. Questions. Being present is not just about being physically there. It's about being mentally and emotionally available. When you're eating, eat fully. When you're talking, listen deeply. Questions. When you're working, work wholeheartedly. Because the best moments of life are not found in scrolls and screens. They're found in smiles and silence. Now, questions. Being present doesn't mean being passive. The same sun that shines today will set in a few hours. A wise person enjoys its warmth and prepares for the night. Questions. Living fully today while quietly building for tomorrow. That's balance. Like a farmer, he celebrates the rain but still sows the seeds. Joy in the moment, faith in the future. Questions. We live in the noisiest century ever. Everyone's showing, telling, and selling. People don't just live. They broadcast living. But you know what's truly powerful? Quiet work. No announcement. Questions. No validation. Just progress. Like roots growing underground. Unseen but essential. Success doesn't need to be posted. It needs to be planted. Questions. Some of the greatest people in history didn't make noise. They made impact. Edison didn't tweet, inventing the light bulb today. He just did the work. Mother Teresa didn't announce. Questions. Opening my 10th orphanage, she just served. The tree that gives the sweetest fruit doesn't make the loudest sound. It grows quietly. In a world moving fast, stillness is a superpower. Questions. Take moments to pause, reflect, and reconnect. A few minutes of silence can recharge hours of activity. As the saying goes, the quieter you become, questions, the more you hear. But gratitude is what transforms our ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. We may not have everything we want, but if we're grateful for what we have, questions, we already have more than enough. Stop counting what's missing, start celebrating what's present. So how do we balance living and building? Here's a simple formula I love. Enjoy the journey. Questions. Envision the destination. Enjoy every step, the laughter, the mistakes, the coffee breaks. But keep your heart anchored in your purpose. Don't live only for results, live with rhythm. Questions. The future is not a place we fear, it's a place we prepare for. Do your best today and trust that life will unfold the rest. Remember, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Questions. Just take the first step. My dear friends, living fully in the present doesn't mean forgetting tomorrow. And building for the future doesn't mean missing today. It means smiling while you work. Questions. It means being kind while you climb. It means being grateful while you grow. Because one day, when you look back, questions, you'll realize that life wasn't about reaching a destination. It was about dancing through every moment with awareness and purpose. So let's live with joy today, build with faith for tomorrow. Questions, and walk this journey quietly, gracefully, and gratefully. Questions. You see, most of us are living like we're in transit, waiting for our lives to begin after something else happens. We think, once I graduate, then I'll be happy. Once I get that job, questions, then I'll relax. Once I earn this much, then I'll finally start living. And the funny thing is that ounce never comes. It keeps shifting further and further away. Questions, like the horizon. No matter how far you walk, it still stays distant. Let's be honest, we've all been there. We're eating dinner, but already planning tomorrow's breakfast. Questions. We're on vacation, but worrying about the emails piling up. We're spending time with loved ones, but our eyes are glued to screens, scrolling through someone else's life instead of living our own. Questions. And then we wonder, why does time feel like it's flying? Because while life is happening now, our mind is living elsewhere. There's a beautiful saying, if you live in the past, questions, you'll be depressed. If you live in the future, you'll be anxious. But if you live in the present, you'll find peace. A peace is not found in a place or a plan. It's found in a moment. Questions, and that moment is now. Let me tell you a simple story. One day, a father was working on his laptop, deeply focused. His little daughter came running and said, "Daddy, questions, let's play." He looked at her and said, "Not now, sweetheart. I'm busy." She waited, came again after 10 minutes. "Daddy, let's play." He replied, "I told you." Questions, not now. Hours later, when he finally closed his laptop and went to find her, she was fast asleep. That night he looked at her tiny hand resting on his. Questions, and realized he had lost a moment that will never come back. We often think the big moments in life are birthdays, promotions, weddings. But the truth is, questions, life is made up of small moments that we usually ignore while waiting for the big ones. The real magic happens in the ordinary. Your morning coffee, a walk in the park, a heartfelt conversation. Questions, laughter with friends, the sound of rain, the quiet peace before you sleep. These are not interruptions to life, they are life. Have you noticed how children live? Questions, they don't worry about what's next. Give a child a balloon, and that's their world. They don't care if it's red, yellow, or blue. Questions, they don't worry about whether it will burst later. They're just thrilled now. That's presence, the art of being fully immersed in what's in front of you. But as we grow up, questions, we start living like browsers. Too many tabs open in our minds. One tab for regret, one for anxiety, one for expectations, one for comparison. And when too many tabs are open, questions, what happens to a computer? It slows down, or sometimes it freezes. That's exactly what happens to our peace of mind. When you're drinking water, just drink water. Questions, don't drink it with your phone in one hand and stress in the other. When you're talking to someone, look at them, listen to them. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Questions, when you're eating your meal, savor it. Be grateful that you have food on your plate. Don't rush to finish it like it's a task. Being present doesn't mean you ignore the future. Questions, it means you give your best energy to what's happening now. Because the quality of your present determines the quality of your future. Questions, you cannot build a beautiful tomorrow with distracted moments today. Let me give you another small real-life example. Once a man visited a monk and said, "I feel like my life is slipping away." Questions, I'm always busy, but I don't feel fulfilled. The monk handed him a glass of water and said, "Drink this carefully." Questions, but make sure you don't spill a drop. The man walked slowly around the room, completely focused on the glass. When he returned, the monk asked, "Questions, did you notice the paintings on the wall?" He said, "No, Bob." "Did you see the flowers near the window?" "No." The monk smiled and said, "Questions, you were so focused on not spilling the water that you missed everything beautiful around you." That's how most people live, trying not to spill their responsibilities. Questions, but missing the beauty of being alive. Being present is not about neglecting your duties. It's about infusing them with awareness. You can work with focus and still smile. Questions. You can study with concentration and still enjoy the process. You can cook, clean, walk, drive, and still feel alive while doing it. And let's remember this. Time doesn't stop. Questions. Life doesn't wait for us to finish being busy. Every minute that passes is gone forever. The laugh you could have shared, the words you could have spoken, questions, the peace you could have felt, they all belong to this moment. The future will come soon enough, but when it does, it'll arrive disguised as another present moment. Questions. The present is called a gift for a reason. It's literally the only thing we have. The past is a memory, the future is imagination. The only moment that's real is now. Questions. So next time you wake up in the morning, don't rush to check your phone. Take a breath, feel the air in your lungs. Notice the sunlight entering your room. When you meet someone, be there fully. Questions. When you laugh, laugh completely. When you rest, rest peacefully. When you work, work mindfully. Because someday when we look back, questions, it won't be the number of tasks we finished or the money we earned that will matter. It will be the moments we truly lived. So, my friends, don't wait for life to begin after something. Questions. Life is already happening right here, right now. Don't just exist through it. Be present. Live it. Feel it. Cherish it. Questions. Happiness, that magical word everyone is searching for. We run after it like it's hiding somewhere far away. We tell ourselves, questions. I'll be happy when I get that promotion. Or, I'll be happy when I buy a house. Or, I'll be happy when I find the right person. It's almost like we've placed happiness at the end of a long row. Questions. Thinking it will appear only after certain boxes in life are checked. But here's the truth. If you can't find happiness in what you have today, you won't find it in what you get tomorrow. Questions. The problem isn't that happiness is difficult to find. It's that we're looking for it in the wrong places. We've connected it to conditions. If this happens, questions, then I'll be happy. But life doesn't work like that. Happiness is not a destination, it's a decision. It's not something we chase, it's something we choose. Let me tell you a small story. Questions. A man once walked into a park and saw two workers laying bricks. He asked the first one, "What are you doing?" The man frowned and said, "Can't you see? I'm laying bricks under the hot sun." Questions. It's boring, it's tiring. Then he asked the second worker the same question. That man smiled and said, "I'm building a temple." Same job, same place. Questions. Same heat, but two completely different levels of happiness. One was focused on the hardship of today. The other was connected to the purpose of today. The difference wasn't in their work. Questions. It was in their attitude. In our daily lives, we keep postponing joy. We say, once I finish this deadline, then I'll relax. Or, once my kids grow up, questions, then I'll start enjoying life. But every time we delay happiness, we push it further away. And by the time we reach that then, we're already chasing the next one. Happiness, my friends, questions, isn't waiting in the future. It's quietly sitting beside you right now, waiting for you to notice it. Think of a cup of tea. If you keep thinking, questions, I'll enjoy my tea, I finish all my work, the tea will go cold, the flavor will fade, and so will the joy. Life is just like that cup of tea. If you keep postponing enjoyment, questions, it loses its warmth. The secret is to sip life as it comes, one moment at a time. Look around, some of the happiest people you'll meet are not the richest, the most educated, or the most powerful. Questions. They're the ones who find beauty in simple things. The woman humming while cooking. The old man feeding pigeons in the park. The friend who still laughs loudly over silly jokes. Questions. They've discovered what we often forget. Joy doesn't depend on what you have, but on how you see what you have. There was a time when we were children. Remember those days? Questions. We didn't need fancy vacations or expensive gadgets to feel happy. A bicycle ride, an ice cream on a hot day, a good cartoon. That was enough to make us jump with excitement. But as we grew up, questions, our happiness started needing reasons. We complicated something that was once so simple. Maybe growing up is not about losing innocence, questions, but about relearning how to find joy in little things again. The truth is, life is a collection of ordinary days. If you wait only for the extraordinary ones to feel happy, questions, we'll spend most of our life waiting. But if we learn to appreciate the small blessings, the comfort of home, the laughter of loved ones, the health we still have, questions, the opportunities still open, we start realizing that happiness isn't a prize, it's a practice. One day I met a man who worked as a bus driver. Every morning, questions, while others rushed to their offices with tired faces, he greeted each passenger with a big smile and a cheerful good morning. Someone asked him, questions, how can you be so happy doing the same thing every day? He said, I may not have the best job, but I get to make someone smile every morning. That's my joy. That's it. Questions. Happiness is not about changing your life overnight. It's about changing how you look at what you already have. We often say, questions, I'm waiting for the right time to be happy. But what if this is the right time? What if today, with all its imperfections, questions, with its unfinished plans and messy moments, is exactly where happiness was meant to meet you? There's a beautiful truth: happiness doesn't come from having everything perfect. Questions. It comes from seeing everything perfectly, seeing the gift in what's present. Because if you're always chasing the next thing, you'll miss the blessings in the current one. Try this tonight. Questions. Before sleeping, don't think about what went wrong. Instead, think of 3 small things that went right. Maybe your morning coffee tasted great. Maybe someone smiled at you. Questions. Maybe you made it through a tough day. It might seem small, but gratitude has a way of turning ordinary moments into treasures. The more you appreciate, questions, the more happiness you attract. Not because life changes, but because your vision does. When you learn to create happiness today, you stop waiting for it tomorrow. Questions. You start waking up with a lighter heart, working with a calmer mind, and sleeping with peaceful gratitude. You stop chasing moments and start living them. Questions. Remember this: if you can't smile with what you have now, no future success will fill that emptiness. But if you can smile today, even through the struggles, questions, you've already won half the battle of life. Because happiness is not a result of having a perfect life, it's the result of a present mind. So don't chase tomorrow's happiness. Questions. Don't postpone joy for another day. Don't wait for your dreams to come true to start living. You can create small pockets of joy right here, right now. Laugh at yourself. Breathe deeply. Questions. Appreciate something simple. Thank someone. Forgive quickly. Smile freely. Because happiness isn't a faraway dream. It's in the sunrise you ignored this morning, the hug you gave without reason. Questions. The quiet peace in your heart when you pause for a moment and realize life is beautiful right now. Questions. Life is a fascinating balance between 2 beautiful realities, the present and the future. The present is where we live, breathe, and experience life. The future is where our dreams, hopes, questions, and ambitions reside. The problem is, many of us either get trapped in one or lost in the other. Some people live only for the moment, without thinking of the consequences that await them. Questions. Others live so far ahead, planning, worrying, and stressing, that they forget to enjoy the only thing that's truly theirs, this moment. Imagine a farmer. Questions. He can't just dance under the sunshine and forget to plant seeds, because when the season changes, he'll have nothing to harvest. But at the same time, questions, he can't keep worrying about the harvest so much that he forgets to enjoy the beauty of the fields, the sound of the wind, and the smell of fresh soil. A wise farmer celebrates the rain with focus and rests with gratitude. He lives in today while quietly preparing for tomorrow. That's exactly how life should be lived. Enjoy today. Laugh, love, learn questions, and live. But don't forget to prepare wisely for what's ahead. Because the best preparation for tomorrow is not anxiety, it's discipline. It's not overthinking, it's consistency. Questions. In our daily lives, this balance shows up everywhere. Think about money. If you spend recklessly today without saving anything for the future, questions. You may enjoy short-term pleasure but face long-term regret. On the other hand, if you save every penny and never allow yourself a small treat, you might have security but no joy. Questions. True wisdom lies in enjoying the coffee today while still saving for the cup tomorrow. There's a story about two friends who were woodcutters. Every morning they went into the forest to cut wood. Questions. One of them worked tirelessly all day without stopping, determined to cut more trees than his friend. The other worked just as hard but took short breaks every few hours. At the end of the day, questions. The one who took breaks always had a bigger pile of wood. The first one couldn't understand and finally asked, "How is this possible? You rested, but I worked non-stop." The other smiled and said, "Questions. During my breaks, I was sharpening my axe. That's preparation. You may be busy today, but are you sharpening your skills for tomorrow? You may be living comfortably today." Questions. But are you building habits that will support you later? Life rewards those who enjoy the process, but never stop preparing for progress. Questions. Many people mistake living in the moment for carelessness, doing whatever feels good right now without thinking of the future. But true living in the moment is awareness with wisdom. Questions. It's knowing that every small action you take today plants a seed for your future. If you water it with effort, discipline, and patience, tomorrow will bloom beautifully. Questions. Let's take a simple example from fitness. You can't eat junk food every day and then hope to be healthy next month. You can't sleep 3 hours a night and expect to feel energetic in the future. Questions. Your body is a reflection of the choices you make today. Similarly, your career, relationships, peace of mind. Questions. And even your happiness. They are all results of how wisely you use your present moments. You don't have to sacrifice the present to secure the future. You just have to live intentionally. Questions. When you work, give it your full attention. When you rest, rest completely. When you plan, plan with clarity. The key is to live each day in a way that your future self will look back and say, "Questions. Thank you for the effort you put in." I remember meeting a young college student who said, "I want to enjoy my life now. I'll worry about the future later." Years passed. Questions. And I met him again. He had enjoyed plenty, but he hadn't prepared. He was struggling financially, emotionally, and professionally. He told me, "If only I had given some time to prepare." Questions. I would have enjoyed life even more. On the other hand, I met another man who had spent his youth working endlessly, saving and building. Now in his 50s, he said, "I wish I had laughed more." Questions. Traveled more, lived more. Both of them missed the balance. We all need to learn from that. The art of balance is the art of fulfillment. Life is not meant to be lived in extremes. Questions. It's not about living recklessly today or anxiously tomorrow. It's about being conscious, enjoying today's gifts while quietly creating tomorrow's security. Questions. Look at nature. It gives us this lesson every single day. The tree doesn't worry about growing fruits overnight. It takes in the sunlight, drinks the rain, and grows patiently little by little. Questions. Yet every day it stands tall and alive. It's not rushing, but it's not idle either. It's simply doing what needs to be done today, trusting that tomorrow will take care of itself. Questions. We can live the same way. Do your best in this moment, because that's all you truly control. But do it with purpose, because what you do now will echo into your future. Read that extra page. Questions. Save that extra dollar. Say that kind word. Practice that new skill. Those small actions today are investments that compound beautifully over time. At the same time, don't forget to breathe, smile, questions, and live. You're not a robot building a future. You're a human experiencing life. So take that walk, watch that sunset, spend time with your loved ones. Questions. Because the memories you create today are the treasures that will warm your heart tomorrow. When you combine presence with preparation, joy with responsibility, and gratitude with growth, questions, you start living life at its finest. You're not escaping the moment, and you're not fearing the future. You're aligning them. So, my friends, enjoy today, but prepare wisely for tomorrow. Questions. Laugh freely, but also learn steadily. Celebrate your present, but also cultivate your potential. Questions. Because tomorrow's success is built quietly by the hands that are working and living fully today. Questions. We live in a time where noise has become the new proof of success. People feel that if others don't see what they are doing, it doesn't count. Every little progress, every small achievement, questions, every private moment, it all has to be shared, displayed, and validated by others. But here's the truth that few realize. Real growth doesn't shout, it whispers. Questions. Real success doesn't need attention, it needs intention. Look at nature for a moment. When a seed is planted in the soil, it disappears. It stays buried in darkness, completely unseen. For days, questions, weeks, maybe months, there is no sign of progress. But deep beneath the surface, something beautiful is happening. The seed is breaking, roots are forming, life is preparing to emerge. Questions. And when the time is right, a small green shoot pushes through the soil, growing quietly but powerfully into a tree that gives shade, fruit, and beauty to the world. That's how true work happens. Questions. Quietly, patiently, away from the spotlight. The world often sees the tree but never the roots. Yet it's the roots that make the tree stand strong. In the same way, your unseen efforts, questions, your daily discipline, your silent sacrifices, those are your roots. The danger of our modern world is that we confuse exposure with excellence. Questions. We feel the urge to prove everything. Our kindness, our hard work, our growth. We rush to announce every little thing we do. Questions. But understand this. You don't need to broadcast your journey to validate your worth. The applause of others is temporary, but the satisfaction that comes from quiet, honest work lasts forever. Questions. Think about a student preparing for an exam. One studies silently with focus, consistency, and humility. The other posts every day about how much they're grinding, how tired they are. Questions. How late they're staying up. When the results come, it's not the noise that wins. It's the quiet discipline. Because success doesn't come from attention, it comes from action. Questions. There's a reason why dawn is so peaceful. The sun doesn't rise with a blast of thunder. It rises quietly, painting the world in light. Similarly, questions. The people who make the biggest difference don't always announce it. They let their work speak for them. I once met a man who was running a small charity. Questions. He had been feeding dozens of children for years, yet no one knew. No social media, no big banners, no loud announcements. I asked him questions. Why don't you share your work with the world? He smiled and said, because I'm not doing it for the world's applause. Questions. I'm doing it for the world's betterment. Those words stayed with me. Not all good deeds need an audience. Working quietly also brings peace to the heart. When you stop performing for others, questions, you start performing for purpose. You start doing things because they matter, not because they'll be seen. You start living more authentically, more freely. There's no pressure to impress. Questions, no anxiety about approval, no fear of being unnoticed. Because your fulfillment comes from the inside, not from the outside. We must remember that noise can be deceptive. Questions. The loudest person in the room isn't always the most knowledgeable. The one showing the most progress online isn't always growing the most in reality. Real confidence is calm, not loud. Questions. Real power is steady, not showy. A classic example is bamboo. For the first few years after it's planted, there's almost no visible growth above the ground. Questions. People might even think it's not growing at all, but underneath the soil, it's building a massive network of roots that will later support its incredible height. Once ready, questions. It shoots up several feet in just a few weeks. The secret, it was quietly preparing all along. In our own lives, we need that kind of patience and privacy. Questions. Don't worry if people don't see your effort. Don't be disheartened if your progress isn't public. Great things are built in silence. Dreams, relationships, strength, character. Questions. When you protect your process from noise, you give it the space to grow naturally. Social media has taught us to measure our worth in likes and followers. Questions. But no amount of digital applause can fill the silence of a soul that isn't proud of its private work. So work quietly, build humbly, and let success make the noise later. Questions. The satisfaction of knowing you did honestly, with dedication and without shortcuts, is far greater than the thrill of temporary attention. Questions. And working quietly doesn't mean working secretly or isolating yourself. It means staying focused without distraction, progressing without constant validation. Questions. It means doing what's right even when no one is watching. It's about mastering yourself, not marketing yourself. Think of your goals like a fire. When you're starting it, questions, you shield it from the wind, you protect it until it's strong enough to burn on its own. If you keep showing it off too early, the wind of opinions and comparisons will blow it out. Questions. Keep your flame safe until it's strong enough to shine on its own. There's incredible peace in knowing that your worth is not dependent on how many people notice you. Questions. But on how truly you live your purpose. When you live this way, your success feels lighter, your journey feels purer, and your heart feels calmer. So, questions. Don't feel pressured to announce your dreams before they're ready. Don't waste your energy trying to prove your progress to others. Pour that energy into becoming better, kinder, and stronger. Questions. Let your results be your revelation, because in the end, the world may not remember your noise, but it will remember your impact. And impact, my friends, is always born in silence. So, work quietly. Questions. Grow deeply. Build patiently. Let your roots go strong in unseen places. Because when the time is right, your success won't need to shout. It will simply shine. Questions. We live in a world that never stops talking. Our phones buzz every few seconds, notifications flash like fireworks. Questions. And our minds are constantly racing between what happened yesterday and what might happen tomorrow. We wake up checking messages and sleep scrolling through endless updates. In all this noise, questions, we have forgotten one of life's most powerful truths. Stillness is strength. Stillness doesn't mean sitting idle or doing nothing. It means finding calmness in the chaos, peace in the pressure, questions, and focus in the flood of distractions. It is the art of being fully present and centered when the world around you is spinning. And in today's restless world, questions, that is not a weakness, it's a superpower. Have you ever noticed a lake early in the morning? When it's calm and still, questions, you can see the reflection of the mountains and sky perfectly on its surface. But when the wind blows and the water becomes disturbed, everything becomes blurry. The same happens with our mind. Questions. When it's restless, everything looks unclear. Our goals, our emotions, our relationships. But when it's still, we see everything as it truly is. Stillness gives clarity. Questions. It helps us make better decisions. It connects us with our inner wisdom. In the rush of daily life, we often act out of impulse. We speak before thinking, decide before understanding questions, and react before reflecting. But when we take a moment of stillness, just a breath, a pause, a silence, we shift from reaction to response. And that small pause can change everything. Questions. There's a story of a young man who once approached a wise monk and said, "My mind is always restless. I can't find peace no matter what I do. Questions. Please help me." The monk handed him a glass of water and said, "Stir it." The young man stirred the water until it became cloudy. The monk said, "Now questions. Stop stirring and wait." After a few minutes, the dirt settled at the bottom and the water became clear again. The monk smiled and said, "That is your mind." Questions. When you stop stirring it with thoughts, worries, and fears, it will find its own peace. How beautifully simple that lesson is. Peace isn't something you chase, it's something you allow. Questions. When we quiet the noise within, calmness naturally rises. In real life, stillness doesn't require sitting in a cave or meditating for hours. Questions. It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes each morning to sit quietly with your thoughts, or putting away your phone and listening to your own breathing. Questions. It can be watching the sunset without photographing it, or walking in the park without music in your ears. The more moments of stillness you create, the more strength you gather from within. Questions. We often think power comes from action, from doing, achieving, running, and moving. But the greatest power often comes from pausing. Look at an archer. Before releasing the arrow, questions, he must first draw the bowstring back. A moment of stillness before action. Look at a lion before it leaps. Calm, poised, fully aware. That pause doesn't weaken the action, it empowers it. Questions. The same applies to our lives. When we rush without reflection, we burn out. But when we pause, breathe, and center ourselves, our actions become more meaningful, our thoughts more focused, questions, and our hearts more peaceful. Think about how we handle problems. When something goes wrong, we panic. Our mind starts spinning with what ifs and why me. But in that storm, questions, if we take even a few seconds of stillness to breathe, to observe, to remind ourselves that emotions will pass, we handle the situation so much better. Questions. Stillness gives us the emotional stability to act wisely instead of reacting wildly. I remember meeting a corporate executive who looked exhausted. He said, "Questions. I feel like I'm constantly running. Meetings, targets, deadlines, and yet I'm not moving forward." I told him, "Questions. Maybe it's time to stop running and start standing still." He looked confused, so I explained. Sometimes when you stop moving physically, you start moving spiritually. When you pause, questions, you can see where you really are and where you need to go. A few months later, he told me those words changed his life. He began starting each morning with 10 minutes of silence. No phone, questions, no email, just stillness. His stress reduced, his focus improved, and his relationships became calmer. You see, stillness isn't the opposite of success, it's the foundation of it. Questions. Creativity is born from silence. Solutions come from reflection. Confidence comes from self-awareness. And self-awareness grows in stillness. The most successful people in the world, artists, questions, leaders, thinkers, often speak about the importance of solitude and quiet moments. Because in the silence between all the noise, they hear their truest thoughts. Questions. They connect with something deeper than opinions or applause. Their purpose. We live in a time where everyone wants to be heard, but very few want to listen. Not just to others, questions, but to themselves. We're so busy talking that we've forgotten to hear the quiet voice inside us that says, "It's okay, you're enough." Take a breath. That inner voice is always there. Questions, but it can only be heard in silence. Stillness also teaches us acceptance. When we slow down, we start noticing small things, the taste of our food, the softness of a breeze, questions, the kindness in a stranger's smile. These moments remind us that happiness doesn't always come from grand achievements, but from gentle awareness. In stillness, questions, you realize you don't need to control everything. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to breathe, to trust, to allow life to unfold one moment at a time. So, questions. Amidst the noise of life, choose stillness. When your phone is buzzing, your schedule is full, and your thoughts are racing, pause for a few seconds. Take a deep breath. Questions. Feel it travel through your body. That breath, simple, silent, and powerful, is your reminder that peace is not out there, it's within you. Questions. Because true strength is not in shouting louder than the world, it's in being calm enough to hear yourself when the world is shouting. True confidence doesn't come from constant motion. Questions. It comes from inner composure. And true success doesn't come from chaos, it grows in clarity. So, be still even if the world around you isn't. Find your peace in the pause. Questions. Because in that stillness, you don't lose yourself. You find yourself. And once you found that quiet strength within, no amount of noise in the world can shake you again.